My next guest has been pushing for answers on the Clintons, pointing out on X, Bill and Hillary Clinton are refusing to appear before House oversight for their depositions regarding Jeffrey Epstein. Notice how House Democrats suddenly have nothing to say about it. Joining me now, Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. Congresswoman, thank you for being with us here today. Let's talk about Bill Clinton. For all the talk regarding Jeffrey Epstein, so much of it in many corners focuses on President Trump. But it's not President Trump who had a painting in Jeffrey Epstein's house wearing a dress and high heels. It's not President Trump who'd been to the island. It's not President Trump who's littered throughout the emails by others talking about, hey, Jeff, I saw your boy at Davos. Why are we not talking about Bill Clinton?
Well, I think it's important to note that even from the beginning of my task force in January of this year, I was really pushing to figure out what the deal was with these documents. And in around February timeframe, I was made aware by a whistleblower, of which I have since reported this to the FBI. And it was actually the only outlet in the country that would report on our findings was Fox News. We had actually reported that we were made aware of a whistleblower that under the former deputy director of the FBI, so under Biden's FBI, there was destruction of evidence specifically pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein and potential evidence tampering. I think that that's pretty important to note because I went public with this and not one member of Congress, really for the most part, a majority of Republicans weren't even tracking that. But for those that were trying to use this to smear the president, notice how they never made a mention of that. As we continued in our investigations, I've gone to every potential meeting with these victims. I sat in the same room where the victims exonerated President Trump and said that they simply want access to their files that they had requested from the DOJ under Biden and were denied access to. I can tell you that this administration has released over 50,000 files. Remember, Democrats tried to selectively pick and choose emails to, again, try to smear the president. Notice how they didn't put the Jeffrey Epstein email in there that talked about how much he hated the president. And you even had one of their own actively engaging in communication with this pedophile, not to try to get justice for the victims or justice for the children, but to try to smear the president. And so I've said this from the get-go, the president hasn't changed his position. Any single person in the country, if you were being accused of being a convicted sex trafficker and pedophile, you would obviously be upset too. The president has pushed for transparency. I have frankly had many members conversations about this, and I think what we're mostly disgusted about is that this entire time, it does seem that this has been only used to smear the president. Now, he actually said the other day, go ahead and release the files. I think it was on Friday he started saying that. He reiterated the Truth Social statement, but ultimately at the end of the day, I don't want people to get distracted from the facts here, and the facts is that Jeffrey Epstein was a bad person. We obviously have been made aware, Congress has as a whole, you guys did the article yourselves on it, that there was potential destruction of evidence and evidence tampering. Now, I ask you, why under a former administration that's Democrat-run that was already targeting the president, why would you ever want to destroy evidence? Why would you ever want to tamper with evidence? And this is publicly known to be happening at the FBI during the transition. So that's a huge problem and signifies a bigger issue here.
Yeah, if that evidence implicated President Trump. However, if that evidence implicated other sympathetic figures to the previous administration, I think we have the answer to your question. Quickly, because I want to cover one other thing with you here today, Congresswoman, but perhaps you're most well suited to answer the question that I asked yesterday. Why? Why did so many high-profile figures continue to consort with Jeffrey Epstein after his 2008 conviction for soliciting an underage minor? Why, from every academic walk of life, from finance to politics to entertainment, did so many people turn to Jeffrey Epstein to ask him questions about their life, their business, to be his friend?
Jeffrey Epstein was a master manipulator. We've heard this not just from the victims, but it's very evident in how he handled and manipulated politicians as well as world leaders. I believe that his immense wealth lured people in, kind of how a bug is lured to a bug zapper. And ultimately, I do believe that there's an aspect to Jeffrey Epstein that involves foreign intelligence. But make no mistake, if it was American intelligence, we would have had some form of file on him that existed at the CIA. And to my knowledge, that doesn't exist. The fact is that Jeffrey Epstein was running an operation where he was collecting information on people, which is why they try to smear the president. But we know that Mr. President is clean, and he's the most investigated man in U.S. history. And definitely, I'm frankly glad that those emails came out because it proved exactly what we've been saying the whole time.
So to be clear, there's a lot of wealthy financiers from New York. There's a lot of people connected politically. Very few of them seem to have the deep relationship he had in all walks of life. Your answer to me as to why suggests the distinguishing factor with Jeffrey Epstein from your other politically connected wealthy individuals is that you believe he's also connected to foreign intelligence, that he was using that as an operation to compromise individuals in the United States.
Yes.
What specifically, who's he work for, Jeffrey Epstein?
I had asked the victim attorney representation directly in front of all of House Oversight and the Speaker of the House if, to their knowledge, he had information or if he was involved with a foreign government. And they said that he was actively in communication at the time while he was under arrest with a former director of the CIA, so different administration, not Trump's administration, but different administration, and that they had heard / had potentially knowledge that he was involved with Israel, Iran, and Russia.
And directly communicating with them while he was under arrest,
correct.
You said?
That he had communications with foreign intelligence, correct? That he was directly communicating via his bodyguard through notes with the former director of the CIA. And this is, mind you, not during the Trump administration, but when he was first on house arrest. So I believe it was actually under the Bush CIA director.
And to be clear, Congresswoman, you're getting this information from where?
From the victims' attorneys. And they actually told all of this to House Oversight, so Democrats, Republicans, and the Speaker of the House.
So from victims' attorneys that Jeffrey Epstein is connected in the manner that you're talking about to foreign intelligence services?
Correct.
Okay, and just to be clear, because you've significantly piqued my curiosity here, how would the victims' attorneys have access to that information of Jeffrey Epstein's foreign intelligence connections?
I actually had asked them where their main source was, and one of them was from his bodyguard, who, to my knowledge, is still alive today. Also, the victims did see a lot of information, but at the time when I answered this, or when I asked this question in front of everyone, it was the attorney answering, not the victims directly. So,
and Congresswoman, what's the name of that bodyguard?
I don't have I have it written down in my notes, but I don't have the name off the top of my head. But he's, to my knowledge, still alive because I actually asked that question for follow-up on the investigation. Yeah,
that'd be a great source to follow up with then for this information. Well, I appreciate the candid nature of this conversation. It's obviously worthy of a much deeper discussion, and I think that this is a part of the story that deserves investigation. Before you go today, I did want to ask you about something else that I saw from some of your colleagues in the House. It's pretty fascinating, but this is a group of Democrat politicians, all of whom I believe served either in the military or in an intelligence service, and they just put out this video earlier today.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up the ship.
That's Alyssa Slotkin, Jason Crow, Mark Kelly, many others, really encouraging the military to refuse orders.
I mean, I'm surprised they didn't ask me to be in the video. I'm a vet. I obviously don't think the military should, get behind illegal orders. But the fact is that this military isn't being ordered to do anything illegal. So obviously partisan in nature. I would argue, why didn't they do a video calling out at the same time General Milley for when he hopped on a call with China to tell him, this, that, and the other pertaining to President Trump's agenda? The fact is that this whole objective of the Democrats in both the House and the Senate is to obstruct, to draw attention away from their failures. And I look forward to what President Trump has planned specifically on health care.
It feels a little insurrection-y, I think one might point out as well. Feels a little insurrection-y. So. All right, Congresswoman Luna, thank you so much for your time today. I hope to talk again soon and follow up on some of those questions.
Thanks.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
4.7 million years ago, Earth kept a secret buried under ash, bones, and silence. Something happened in this forgotten age, something powerful enough to shape the beginning of our story and nearly erase it. Tonight, we travel back to a world that came before humans, a world ruled by giants, shadows, and survival, a world where one mistake meant extinction. And yet, from this chaos, something extraordinary began. What forced life to change? What tried to stop evolution in its tracks? And who survived long enough to start the chain that would one day become us? This is not ancient history. This is deeper, older, a time before fire, before language, before the first human heartbeat, a time when the world was familiar but terrifyingly alien. 4.7 million years ago, Africa was a mosaic of lush forests, volcanic plains, and roaring rivers. The ground trembled under beasts far larger than anything alive today. Elephants towered like moving boulders. Giant hyenas stalked the tall grass. Crocodiles waded in rivers longer than modern trucks. But hidden beneath this world of monsters, something small, fragile, and important was learning how to live. They were not human, not yet, but they were walking towards something, a future they couldn't imagine. In the shadows of ancient mountains, a new creature rises to its feet, unsteady, wobbling, 2 legs instead of 4. This simple act changes evolution forever. With 2 feet, they see